welcome to Watching for a Friend, where I watch movies and shows because I love them and let you know whether it's worth watching or not. If you're new here, thank you for choosing me, and if you are returning, thank you for the love and support. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you all enjoy this video and stay till the end. Today I'm going to be doing another movie review, and this movie is going to be the 2018 sci-fi thriller The Witch Subversion Part 1, not to be confused with the 2015 horror film The Witch. This is a Korean film with English subtitles, and I'm really excited to tell you all about it, so let's go on and get into it. This film is centered around 19-year-old Jae-yoon, who ran away from a laboratory as a young child and fled to a nearby farm where an older couple adopted her and raised her as their own. It's known by her family that she isn't your average child because she has supernatural powers that her parents are able to keep under wraps since they live in the countryside. Now, when we catch up with Jae-yoon, her family is having financial troubles and having a hard time feeding their livestock. Her mother is also showing signs of worsening dementia, and she herself is suffering from debilitating headaches and amnesia. Trying to help her family, she auditions for a televised American Idol-style singing contest and ends up making it in after using her powers to levitate the microphone and wowing the audience. This gets the attention of the former laboratory team that she escaped from as a child. As the movie progresses, Jae-yoon attempts to piece together her mysterious past, and things become increasingly dangerous for Jae-yoon and her parents, as these people from the lab have set a group of mysterious young people with superpowers out to capture her. This group is led by a stranger that we only know as Nobleman, who is around her age. Jae-yoon has no choice but to face these people that are pursuing her and return to the lab she escaped from as a child, hoping for some answers and possibly a cure for her amnesia and these debilitating headaches she's experiencing, which leads to an important and unexpected plot twist. So, that's the synopsis of the movie. Let me tell you a little bit about why I think it's definitely worth a watch. I enjoyed this movie because it's done differently than a lot of our American style sci-fi thrillers. The plot was thick, okay? With 2 C's, thick. The third act feels like a completely different world from the first act. And the second act did a wonderful job of getting us there seamlessly. I will give a warning here that it starts out feeling like a coming of age story and ramps up very slow to a quite bloody third act. So this is how it differed from a lot of our American horror, thriller, action films, is that they actually saved the majority of the violence for the last 30 minutes of the movie. It gets really bloody, y'all, so just know that for sure. It's very different from where it started. But I really appreciated the film's shift in tone. I really liked that about it. Another thing that I appreciated is that they did a great job of showing versus telling. Now, as I said, this was Korean with English subtitles, and even if I didn't have the subtitles, I'd be able to follow along and, stay interested and engaged with this movie because of the visuals. They did a really good job at showing what was happening in the story, and they didn't rely on a ton of dialogue or exposition to keep this plot moving. They did a wonderful job with that. Loved it. The acting was also well done. Kim Da-mi did a wonderful job carrying this movie. A lot of it was pulled together by her ability to react and play this role really well. Choi Woo-Shik, also, you may know him from movies like Parasite or Train to Busan. He did a really good job at playing this very menacing, calculated villain. He did an amazing job, which is very different than a lot of the roles that I've seen him in previously. And then I just love that he had some swag about him. This is the first time that I've seen him be this swaggy in a movie. Loved his entire character. He did a great job. Now, I don't have much to say as far as negativity for this film. I thought they did a really good job. I do want to go back to the complex story. There were some places where I thought they could trim it down just a bit, but even with the complexity and a lot of different plot points going on, they managed to tie up all the loose ends quite beautifully. The movie is also left open-ended, and a sequel is slated, or part 2 is slated for 2021. I'm really looking forward to it. These are the movies that I want to see more of. Sci-fi that really explores the infinite possibilities of science, but has a real heart at the core. I loved this. I thought the writing was phenomenal. Loved the visuals. The acting was great. Loved this movie so much, so I highly recommend it. The storytelling here was compelling and it was fun to watch. If you plan on watching this movie, which I highly recommend you do, go on to Netflix. It is available right now. And remember to look for The Witch Subversion Part 1. And I hope that you enjoyed this movie as much as I did. If you have already seen the movie or don't mind spoilers, feel free to come along with me and we're going to talk about it. So I really want to talk about this film's twist, okay? So it was one of the better twists that I've seen in a while, and I think it's because they kept it so simple. The entire film, they did a wonderful job at getting us to believe that Jae-yoon was this sweet, innocent teenager that had lost her memory. I was completely convinced that she had no clue who these people are, why they were after her. I thought she had completely forgotten about her past. She was so convincing in this, and they did such a great job at even tying together all of the little details that played into the plot. I've gone back and I've watched this movie 3 times. So the second 2 times that I viewed it, it was like watching an all new movie, because I was starting to pick up on the details that I hadn't gotten in that first viewing. Details that are important to the plot, little hints here and there. And so I really love that they paid attention to those small details, because now when I go back, I'm always looking for something new, and I find something new. I love that the way the writing unpeeled those layers in that way. When we finally get to the lab and Jae-yoon is captured and she's being held captive in this chair, I really thought they were going to lose me. I thought it was going to go the typical route and she was going to somehow magically remember everything and find a way to cleverly get out of this predicament that she was in, being trapped in this chair in this laboratory with this mad scientist doctor. And part of the reason I thought they were going to lose me is because Dr. Baik, the mad scientist doctor, started giving a bunch of exposition about how these kids, how they created these kids with these perfectly engineered brains. And she's talking to a room full of people that know this already. So she might as well have broken the fourth wall and just started speaking to the audience. In my head, I was like, why is she giving all this exposition? Everybody in this room has an engineered brain. But they managed to throw in the twist here that got me to re-engage with the quickness, okay? I'm thinking, I'm sure like now they're gonna have her magically remember everything and she's somehow gonna do something kind of clever to get herself out of this. But when they injected her with that serum and she brought her face up like Taraji P. Henson and Testify, you accuse, let me testify. I was like, hold up, okay? I was speechless. I didn't know what to do with myself, okay? So they revealed that she was only playing the part of this innocent teen the entire time. And she planned everything up until that point just to get this serum, because the serum helps her to operate at her absolute fullest potential, physically, mentally, all of that, okay? So now she has more power than anyone in this room, anyone in this building, anyone in this world for all intents and purposes. Okay, so she knew that they'd have the serum to cure her of these headaches and all of these different ailments that she's dealing with. She knew that for herself, but ultimately she wanted to get this serum to help cure her mother of her dementia. And I was like, this is where that heart comes in, right? She did all of this. She's suffering. She's trying to get through it all, only to find out that she knew she was going to have to go through this to get this serum for her mother. And then on top of that, she knew they had assumed that she was dead back when she was a child. They assumed that she hadn't survived out in the woods, when she escaped when she escaped the laboratory, they had assumed that she hadn't survived. She knew this. She knew that she'd have to do something to get these people's attention, which is why she strategically went on to that national singing contest. She knew she'd win because she knows that she's perfect in every way. So she knew her voice would wow everyone. And then on top of that, using her powers would get her onto this show, which would get the attention of these folks and let them know, y'all, I'm still here, okay? So I loved that. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe she thought that far ahead. It just shows how genius she is because she's able to use the full potential of her brain. So now the possibilities are endless for her because she can use her power to the max. Her powers are limitless now. Then to take things further, she knew that she was going to have to play dumb in order for them to be like, oh, well, since you don't remember, we have to use this serum to help you jog your memory. And that, she knew that they wouldn't just hand over the serum to her if she went there and demanding it. So she knew that they would want to use the serum on her for their own benefit and ended up using it for her own benefit. So I was like, yes, sis is 2 steps ahead of everybody, 10 steps ahead. Loved her. She fooled them all. And then she proceeded to be no match, okay, for anyone. There was nobody that could stop her. So Nobleman was the closest to having her level of power. He is the next most powerful person, but he even wasn't a match for her, which I loved. So she's the most powerful being. The writing was great, and it really solidified to me how good this movie is. So now she successfully saved her mother from dementia. She destroyed the lab and all the people who created her and were trying to capture her and basically enslave her. And now she's setting out to find out more about where she comes from, maybe even finding her birth parents. So ultimately, this is an origin story of an Asian female superhero. Okay, what? I stand. Okay, I stand. Love it. So that's all that I have to say. I really just wanted to talk through that twist because I got really excited about it. I've been thinking about it for a week now because I watched it. I've been watching it over the course of a week for about 3 different times. So if you've seen this movie, let me know your thoughts down below and let me know how you felt about the twist. Were you as excited as me? Did you figure it out earlier than I did? I loved it. I didn't figure it out until that moment. Thanks for staying till the end. I hope that you enjoyed this review. Let me know down in the comments below any movies that you would like to see me review in the future. So don't forget to like, comment, and then subscribe if you haven't already, and click that notification bell if you want to be notified when I post a new video. Also, don't forget to share this with your friends and family and help your girl out because I can use all the support I can get. And until next time, thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.